Greetings, Healmobiles. How are you? Again, we're in this period of transition. We're dedicated and we're guided to loving living. We want to be works of art in our lives, not works in progress. We're beyond that. And that's the energy with which I teach, share, coach, train. I'm the grandma. For those of you who don't have grandmas, I'm the mentor. For those of you who want to be mentees and learn from my 30 years of experience being out here in the nonprofit world, in the activist world, in the self-healing world, because that's what it's about. Self-healing consciousness. So the Healmobile is a self-healing academy, self-healing training academy. And we do other things like show you how to be a work of art, how to come into the consciousness of your cells, cellular consciousness, molecular consciousness. You name that thing. You rename what you don't like. Call it something different. And it is something different in your life. And your life shifts to that different new thing. And this is really the foundation of happiness. As a work of art, you're regarded as something that's complete. The A stands for aromas, the R stands for Reiki, the T stands for tapping and transformative talk. Like Henrietta Bird says, Reverend Henrietta Bird in Chicago. So, what you want to do, should you choose to accept it, this is not mission impossible, it's mission quite possible. And it is for those of you who've seen a little bit out here. You may have missed or passed or look around, and next thing you know, it's midlife. And you need a new trajectory to be on. And you recognize you've given so much and you have so many gifts, and you're a polymath and you're a pattern weaver and you're just a genius. And you may be unrecognized in your world. Maybe the people who you worked with didn't acknowledge your contributions, but you always have. And you need more support in doing that. And I'm here to support you in actually having more recognition of your gifts, self recognition. Why? Because self care begins with self recognition. And then self healing comes after self care. So I'm not only here as a grandma or grandmother or nana to those who, you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're like, what? There's some guidance needed because people are out of control. You're not only in that conversation, I'm not only serving that conversation, but you're also, especially if you're, Gen X and Gen Z, you're looking for guidance and you maybe didn't get it in the way that you're feeling you need it. I've always been youthful. Praise be to the Creator, most high, innermost, no matter how much gray hair. I used to dye this stuff all the time, I used to dye this stuff all the time. Then it just got to be like, oh, please, forget about it. Too much. And my mother was a salt and pepper hair very, very early in her 20s. Anyway, who cares? Just a little bit about me. So not only are we serving the grandchildren and the young adults and those who want to be mentees from the perspective of there's someone who has pulled it together, who's had a trajectory, has had a career, has had several careers, come out on the other side, is happy, successful, joyful. That's where I am right now. And then there's the other group, those of you who you want to make the transition to holistic, more holistic. That's where the two meet, the younger group and the group that's closer to my decades, where you want to really shift to the lifestyle. I said this was a piece about transmission. transition and transmission. Yes. But transition in the sense of we're all taking big steps and big leaps, and we're at the precipice of this mountain. And we don't know if we should take a leap and jump off. But that's what every day is. You thought it wasn't? You weren't really present to the fact that that's what every single day is. Something to jump off into. That's the kind of people I love working with. Those of you who know that there's something there that can be pulled together into a whole, the wholeness, the wellness, the more love. That's who you are, work of art, to appreciate, right? And so, how did I come to this consciousness? I was an art major. I was always drawing as a child. I was always imaginative. The teachers always told my parents, she's a dreamer. She's always in her mind. Yeah, daydreamer. So now, fast forward. The first career was journalism. The second career was fundraising for college. And I retired from that career. And then the third career is this right now, raising awareness, raising consciousness of energy healing. The fact is, you've got to know that you are an energy healer. Whether you want to call yourself that, you want to call yourself a light worker, you want to call yourself an energy worker, you can do all of that. I see beautiful names, intuitive, this, that, the other, people calling themselves such interesting things. And that's the name principle. Because we got to reclaim society for the good by renaming these new careers. We must do another video on that. That's going to be some other conversation. But the bottom line is only you have this special goodness that no one else has. And so when are you going to shine it? Like my brother Bruce says, genius is common. Therefore, why not honor it? Why not honor it? Honor your own genius and let us bask in it as well. And that's what we want to do. There's nothing wrong. So what we're going to do here is we're doing several transition videos so that we can introduce ourselves as the Healmobile. We're on a trajectory. We're on a journey. We're on a voyage. And this is a picture of an emanation of Isis energy, of feminine energy, divine feminine energy. Because if we as women do not shower the world with our divine feminine energy of leadership, assertion, miraculous change, transformation, and any other wonderful words that come to your mind, our uniqueness, our womb-centric way of operating, and acknowledging that is essential to helping the Patrix grow to the beast it has become. If we don't honor what it is that we've contributed to this, we have to recognize it. Honor the good part, say, can't do that bad part. Can't do that anymore. And yes, it's good and bad. I'm sorry. Some of you don't like that. Good and bad. There's no good and bad. That which advances and that which withers and shrinks permanently to death. That's bad. Okay? In case you were confused, I'm letting you know. That's that's the opposite of expansion. Remember the 9 principles for loving living. We had name, praise, master, or sovereignty. People don't like master word, but mastery is a work of art word, right? It's really okay. But it's about ownership of what it is you're putting in the world, your contribution that is shared with the world, right? You're tributary to the commune. I'm trying to make a word out of contribution that's positive, that is Ubuntu oriented, humane, and of humanity, without which it doesn't exist. So that's really where the mastery word comes from, that you're giving your best, you're always doing your best, right? Then there's unify in terms of these 9 principles for loving living. Unify. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Name, praise, master or sovereignty. Unify. serve. Ask, receive, push, and expand. And if you find yourself in the realm of pushing and resisting, and because when you're pushing, when you're resisting, you're not really pulling back, you're pushing a different way, you're pushing away. So all of these things give us the clue that we're not able to expand. All these ways, all these behaviors that we call bad, quote unquote, set us back. They look like obstacles. They look like hurdles. I heard another way of calling it the other day, and now I can't remember. But it's about getting to that point of transition, and it's like, you can't make the turn. Make the right turn. This is how you push ahead. This is the opposite of pulling. And this is how you expand when you get over that which is pulling you back or drawing you back. It's an obstacle you got to step over. You got to overcome it. You can't turn away. Well, you can, of course, but that's not how to expand. When you turn away, you're just taking some time. You're not procrastinating. You're just saying, it's not quite time yet for me to take this change, to make this leap. And that's okay. Because when the time does come, you have no idea what the expansion will look like. And the best way, the best way is to do nothing about it, except what's there right in front of you. Don't worry about what's not there in front of you. Do what's there in front of you. Okay, so those are 9 principles for loving living, and we take them to heart. I remember asking for truth back in the day. And then I opened a book and it said, "This is the truth." For me, that book was the Quran. For you, it might be a different book. Now, I've kept learning. Just because I'm a work of art doesn't mean I'm not continually learning. And I keep reading and I keep seeing the truth in almost every book I read, or keep hearing the truth and noticing what it means for people not to read, to be pulled away and, you know, lured away from reading and writing. They don't even teach cursive. I said to myself, well, maybe I better help some people learn cursive. This is ridiculous. Because you learn by the pen. And if you can write like this, like a work of art, if you can write like you're painting, how much more effective would that be for your world if you're learning through writing? Look it up. All the information is there. Writing releases stuff in the brain, the molecules, the constituents, the neural pathways. Things open up when you're writing. But if you're only writing block letters, you can't get the ideas out. They're coming too slowly. Do you understand me? So you want to be able to write in a fluid manner, which is cursive writing, which they don't teach in public schools in the US of A anymore. It's not required, just like the arts were taken out. But anyhow, I was going to say, I used to draw. Everybody thought I was going to be an artist. I love drawing, painting, and things like that. But then it got shifted. And all that dreamy stuff that I was seeing stuff like this in my bedroom. I was seeing, these lights here. I was seeing lights and bodies of light go around where I slept. I was seeing that. And I was happy to see. I remember jumping up and down in like a halfway crib. I was a little bit older than crib age. Lots of memories that come back when you use the essential oils and the tapping. And you come back to your center when you learn how to harness the life force you already have within you. You're presencing it. That's why I like presencing it. Even though Sensei Sensei Mikao Usui meditated on a mountain and fasted on a mountain for 21 days, did a lot of meditation. And then a bolt out of the blue, he said, a bolt out of the blue struck his head. And then when he came down the mountain, this is the origin of Reiki. When he came down the mountain, stubbed his toe and hurt his toe, and then touched it and it healed. This is the faculty that we're reawakening with the work of art process. It may not be immediate healing like that, but we use it knowing that the potential is there. And that's all aromas are pockets of potential, because the constituents match up to the olfactory system when we smell them. They actually enter into our brain and affect our amygdala and our hippocampus and all that stuff that has to do with our hormones and regulating them. And I you all want me to memorize that stuff and recite it back to you. But that's your job. You memorize all of that. I live it. I live it. The science is there. We don't have to memorize it anymore. So do join me in having your life be a work of art. Do join me in having the people who work for you, maybe as staff recognition, you want to do it, maybe as honoring your staff, or just staff, what do you call, in-service training. You want your folks, your staff members who are serving others to learn the arts of healing. They can learn more about aromas, how to use them properly, because they're all over the stores. You have to learn how to buy them. You have to learn how to choose them, how to store them, how to use them in your food. That's the best way. That's the first way, the easiest way. And then how to presence the life force energy, how to understand traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and why it's so important and integral to tapping, emotional freedom techniques. These are the things that I teach, and they're available on my school platform. So I pray I see you soon. Okay. And we'll continue to make these introductory videos, because this is a transition for us. We came out of another level of consciousness into this one.